Welcome everyone to another A Day in the Life of. Today is a special episode, special because everyone in the panel is a woman. So I'm super happy to have women power here. We also have another episode with the sales evangelist where I only invited women. This is the second one, but for me, those are the bonuses episodes which I highly appreciate. So with me, I have three incredible business women who will talk about a day in the life of a consultant. I have Rhonda, I have Abby, and I have Leslie. I will let each one of our guests introduce themselves. So let's start with you, Leslie, because FYI, everyone, it was her idea to do an episode on this amazing role. So credits to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I know a lot of amazing consultants and women that I work with in various capacities. And I'm like, okay, let's do this because I can definitely fill your panel. Well, my name is Leslie Greenwood. I am the founder and CEO of Chief Evangelist Consulting. What I do is help companies and creators and people build communities and do it through the lens of the role of the evangelist, which is, the atomic unit of what makes a community amazing, the individual human that makes those connections and goes out and talks about your company in public.
Absolutely. More and more a very important role. So absolutely cannot stress that enough. Abby, how about you?
Hey, coming all the way from Dublin, Ireland. I'm Abby Williams, and having spent about 20 plus years in B2B SaaS space, I am currently the founder and CEO of a company called Lead Not Lag. And what we do is we focus on three things. Firstly, help companies grow in the capacity of a CRO, help grow revenue, develop go-to-market strategy. Second things, do a lot of workshop for leaders to ensure that our leaders are developed, they're competent, and they can drive results that are people-centric. And the third piece is executive coaching. So I work with a lot of executives and to help them realize their dreams and desires. So that's me, and it's nice to be here.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for coming, and congrats for the recent nomination on the CRO to watch. So
Thank
very,
you.
very good.
Thank you.
Rhonda, last but not least, how about you?
Hello, I am Rhonda Geet. I started Straight Talk Marketing, where I am a fractional CMO for B2B tech companies who want to overcome obstacles to get to their next growth milestone. I work with a variety of clients from well-funded pre-seed startups to Series C and beyond, and am industry agnostic. I've had 3 successful exits, 2 with B2C companies that were acquired by multinational corporations, and in 2021 helped a company go IPO.
Amazing. It's such an honor to be surrounded by so many successful women, and we'll go dive into that. Also, I love the fact that even though this is an episode about life in a consultant, I can see already some differences, right? One is fractional CMO, the other is on the CRO, Leslie is on more sales. So I can't wait to dive into that. So let's start more generic. Leslie, how does your day to day look like?
Well, I will tell you my version and I'll tell you my husband's version. My
All
husband's
right.
version is that I talk on the phone all day and he has no idea what I do.
My boyfriend says the same thing about me.
He's like, what do you do? Do you really just talk on the phone all day? And I'm, yeah, that's really what I do. So, my day to day looks like I also host a podcast. So I hosted a podcast with Sam McKenna right before this. So I was very excited about that. I spent a lot of time talking to clients. The community world is kind of a growing. You're hearing more about it in the B2B space, but it is definitely on the growing side. So I spent a lot of time on customer education. Why would you want to have a community? What are the commercial and business outcomes you could expect for a community? And then setting expectations around community, because community takes time to develop. You don't just turn it on and now everybody wants to come and they're all friends and we're all shouting about your company online. So that's where I spent a lot of my time. My business has been live about 6 months. So, just having a lot of discovery conversations, working with clients. So usually we have a work session every week. So I was prepping for that before we came because we need to make some pivots. I'm sure the group will all know about pivots and potentially losing your point of contact in the middle of a project.
Oh, I
And
think we
so
all know how does it feel.
yes, yes. So, that is, it's a mixture of, new business development, customer education, some social selling, because I am quite active on LinkedIn, and then delivery, project and client delivery.
Sounds good. Abby, how different or how similar is it for you?
Very similar in terms of it's very diverse, right? I can have a very, very hectic day to a more chilled day, which is why I love how I'm structured at the moment. So there's a lot of context switching, which is very interesting and exhausting at the same time. So I could be in a CRO capacity helping a company drive revenue and drive go-to-market strategy, or I could be traveling to a company to do a public speaking event, or I could be talking to somebody through Zoom and doing executive coaching, or I could be in a workshop running sales trainings or running leadership development trainings, right? So there's a lot of very diverse and a lot of context switching, and I quite enjoy that. And then also it just means that I'm on my toes all the time and constantly learning as well to ensure that while I'm not a swift army knife as that somebody described me before, but I'm a master of 5 things and I do it exceptionally well. And in order to keep up that pace, there's a lot of learning and development that goes into it. So I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. I spend a lot of time on communities to help me continue to ensure that I'm delivering those different things very, very well. So a lot of learning, a lot of context switching, very, very hectic, but sometimes really chilled and where I'm in control of my day, which I really enjoy.
I'm not a consultant, but I can relate to you because I work in a startup. So not very different, not very different. Rhonda, how is it for you? How does your day-to-day look like?
I never have a day that's the same, which I love, and probably why I chose this route. Clients normally hire me for 20 to 50% of the work week, and I had to be very efficient and focused on getting results for them. So I work in 2-week sprints, which is kind of odd for a marketing person to use like an agile mentality, but it helps focus everyone on the same page, make sure that we're getting results while we're working towards the overarching strategy that I created. But then, like Abby, I have to switch hats too because I do a lot of speaking engagements. I have to do a lot of business development like Leslie, because you have to have your own pipeline, and everything that you do for your clients, you also have to do for yourself. And you have to stay up on all new technology, new things that are coming out.
Every
things,
day.
every day.
Nowadays. It's insane.
It's crazy. So, but I like the switching hats. I like the different industries. I like the different size companies that I work with because it keeps you very sharp. It keeps you on your toes. I never get bored. And but I also agree with Leslie. I think my husband thinks that all I do is chat with people all day. Like I just talk to people on Zoom or on the phone all day long. So he may think that's what I do all day.
Is it the same for you, Abby? Does your husband think the same?
No, he knows my husband is in sales, so
Ah.
we're
He gets it.
probably do much talking about sales in our home. So yeah, it's welcomed. Yeah, but it's amazing, right? And then the other piece as well is connecting with amazing people like Leslie and Rhonda, and comparing notes and asking for help and asking for advice. And this is something I really love. In this community, in this space, there's a lot of sharing, there's a lot of helping, there's a lot of connecting the dots and just helping each other on our low days and our high days as well. So it's great to be able to have that access and and have that in you, Rhonda and Leslie as well.
On that note, Abby, let's continue with you. What does success look like in your role as a consultant?
And there's a difference between consultant and fractional. So consultants tend to give advice and recommendation. Fractional, roles don't just give recommendation, but they actually execute. So slight difference. But I mean, what was the question again? What do I?
How does success look like to you?
Yeah, okay. It's 412 over me, so my brain might be a little bit slow. So for me, success is really helping to achieve the objectives of my clients, right? So it could be either from a speaking event, the company that I'm speaking for, or for somebody that an executive that I'm coaching, what they want to achieve, ensuring that I help them get that outcome, or a company that I'm a CRO for, right? What are the objectives on their go-to-market, and how do I help them get that outcome? So for me, once they achieve their objectives, that's success for me.
Absolutely. And do you look at the same KPIs that you would look if you were a CRO, or would you join those KPIs from a CRO plus your own as a fractional and as a consultant?
It would be a similar KPIs, right? So when we think about go-to-market strategy, right, we're talking about sales, we're talking about marketing, we're talking about ops, we're talking about the CRM, we're talking about the customer success team, we're talking about marketing. How does all of that work together as an efficient engine to drive revenue? So it will be looking at all of that. We're talking about culture, we're talking about employees, we're talking about leadership capacity, right? So I probably even touch on much more than some CROs will touch on, because I believe recipe for success is very comprehensive than
Absolutely.
we're executing today. So yes.
Yeah. Leslie, I see you nodding. How does success look like for you?
For me, the way I'm thinking about it right now, it comes in two waves. So, well, three. Let's say three. So, personally, success looks like I'm filling my pipeline with opportunities. I'm closing deals, I guess, because I'm now in sales. So that's success. Of course, getting a testimonial is success. But for my clients, it comes in two phases. One is because we're looking to launch a community. So did we launch the community? Like that's where it goes. Like as soon as you check that box, like that's success number one. Success number two, we probably will assess in 6 to 12 months, which is, is the community delivering the outcomes that we wanted? And that is not something we will know success at that moment. So, things like how does engagement look in 6 months? Are we starting to see, increased brand presence? Are we seeing social mentions, things like that? So mine is definitely, and I'm sure it's probably the same with you all, but it's just like a milestone, I guess. One is a milestone, and then one is the ultimate success.
Absolutely. Rhonda, how is it for you? Which KPIs do you look at? How do you say, yes, today was a successful month or quarter?
I think professionally for me, it depends on the client. So you have your KPIs, you have your success metrics. So some of my clients bring me in. I'm the first marketing hire that they've had, help develop overall global marketing strategy, get to their next milestone. Sometimes I come in as a bridge between a former CMO and as they're hiring for their next full-time CMO. And it helps keep the company moving in the right direction. They don't lose any momentum. And so those KPIs, even though they're normal CMO KPIs, for me to be successful in that role is to keep the internal team moving, the board, the C-suite, all on the same page. And then personally, and I think Abby and Leslie probably have some of this too, like the reason that we're doing fractional or consulting work is to have more flexibility with our personal life and our professional life. I have a zoo here. I have 2 dogs and a cat that thinks that she's a Labrador like the other 2, even though she's only 7 pounds, and she runs the house. And, we're go. And I'm at the point in my career where I love that I can help companies, but I also want to enjoy all the effort and all the dues that I paid to get here, to go, wine tasting with friends, go play golf with my husband. So I like having that. So if I'm successful being able to have my personal life and my professional life balanced-ish, then I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Rhonda. I would definitely +1 on that in terms of how balance is your health, basically, mentally, physically. Are you fully present at home? And I find that that combination of success in terms of how you are, how balanced, helps you in terms of the output and how efficient you are, right? Really taking that time to recuperate, having that flexibility to learn and develop, having that flexibility to have your go days and have your take a step back day where you can reflect and look at things, zoom in and zoom out. Actually helps you to be more productive. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Rhonda.
And I'm gonna piggyback, sorry, off of that. But I mean, just as a prime example.
I love that. Keep going.
Yes. I mean, I returned yesterday. I've been in Florida for a week with my mom. She's 77 years old. I was working. It was not a vacation. There are 2 days that I worked really hard and really long, and I didn't actually go onto the beach that we were in front of, but I wish I had now. And there were 3 days where, between my meetings, I went out and walked on the beach. I, had dinner out with my mom, and so for me, the ability to like work wherever I want to work, and to do that balance. And, in my stage of career, I've spent my entire life kind of like Rhonda, like in startups and hustling and all of that. And it's like the first time that I am working my work into my life,
Yes.
instead of working my life into my work. And that's a very conscious decision that I made in starting this business.
Isn't it funny that after a while, what we value start to change? Because now the things that I value are, my mental health, my pace, being fully present with my kids and my family, and being centered, whereby I'm just not in that mode of stress and go. I'm probably a better mother now, a better wife, a better friend, a better colleague, and so on. But I probably wouldn't have valued. It's interesting how time helps you to realize what actually matters most.
Absolutely. And also from what I see in all of you, you also, by working with several clients, you're also adding value to several companies and to very people, right? When you work for one company, you giving value, your work is valuable for one, let's say, company, one person, whereas now you manage to have more time for yourselves and more time to help several people, which if you think about it, it's quite amazing, isn't it? So
it's not all glory. It's not all
I'm glad you say that, because my next question, and I'm going to start with you, Abby, because you guessed it. What are the main challenges of this role?
It's not all rosy. I think the biggest challenge, three things. Firstly, is to be intentional with your time, because we're into so many things. You can just kind of like, if you're not intentional in regards to, firstly, remembering why you started this in the first place, right, is to have a more centered, more balanced. So to ensure that that is happening, staying centered is key, and being intentional in regards to that. But sometimes you can get lost because there's so many things going on if you're not intentional about that. And then the second piece is, you're now selling yourself, you're selling your service, right? So that constant need to pipeline and, and deal with that ambiguity of, moving from earning a salary every month and having that security to, oh, I'm not quite sure where my pipeline is going to come from next, but being okay with that and dealing with that ambiguity of not knowing what the next thing is and where it's going to come from, and trusting that process. That can be a challenge. I'm sure you can relate to that, Rhonda and Leslie.
Leslie, how is it for you?
Very similar. I'd say I was just talking to someone yesterday. My biggest challenge, I have two big challenges, and both Rhonda and Abby have like, Leslie, let me help you. Leslie, tell me what you need. I will help you. And so my biggest, now I've got three biggest challenges. One is, seeking and asking for the help. And I mean, I'm always seeking knowledge, but then that's different than asking specific, like, Rhonda, I really need to redo my website and put my offerings in a great place. Could you help me with that? Like I need to do that. The other thing is, it goes back to the content switching. So there's, as we all know, there's the 20% of what you do that creates 80% of your income.
The Pareto law.
Yes. So right now I feel like I am spending a lot of time in the other 80%. It's very easy to get distracted by other things that will not drive, business. for me. And maybe it will over time, but I think there's a balance between, the social selling and the media presence that is needed for people to find you and actually doing the work. So that's another challenge. And let's see what else. It's just time blocking in general. It's just not, I have got to, like, I don't know how many times I put on my list to create a time blocking or a bucket schedule or something. I've yet to execute on it though. So those are my challenges.
I can relate to
that you
some of
say
those.
that, Leslie. Sorry, Mafalda.
No, go for it.
You're so great at back to your first point. You're so great at just helping people. You're just like, oh, I think this is going to be useful for Rhonda, so I'm just going to like you do it so proactively. I'm just going to send that to Rhonda. I think this is going to it's amazing. So it's amazing that strength is something that you're trying to do for yourself, and and ask for that help because you're such a giver. And yeah,
she
complete
is.
complete paradox. I will do it all day for someone else, and then to go out for myself and say, hey, you know what? I don't know the answer to this. Of course I don't know the answer to this. I don't know anything about marketing. I've never been a CRO. I don't know that. Why am I not asking you? So anyway, for all you out there, use your network. Be in a community.
Fun story. I was looking. I had an episode on the daily life of a CRO at the time, and I had 2 men. I always make sure I have women in every single episode, no matter how difficult it is to find. Took me months. I couldn't find everyone I spoke to. Either went on maternity leave, or was not available, or didn't respond to me, or couldn't do it for other reasons. And then I commented to Leslie in 1 second. She pointed me to Stephanie. And then suddenly I have my episode. And I was like, all right, something that I was looking for 4 months in 2 seconds gets solved. There you go. So yes.
I forgot about that. I was as you were saying that, I'm like, oh my God, why don't you ask me? And I'm like, oh, I forgot that you did ask me. So yeah, next time you're looking for someone, just let me know. I will hook you up.
Leslie is a great connector. Like Leslie has been like meeting Leslie was a game changer for me. Like she's such a connector and very centered. So yes, kudos to Leslie.
And I've never met anybody that exemplify like evangelist, being an evangelist, community. You just really like you are community. Like if somebody says define what an evangelist is or define what community is, just say Leslie Greenwood. You are.
I paid them. I'll send you your $10 after the show.
And on those days, Leslie, where you don't finish your to-do list, remember the impact that you're driving in just being who you are. Like that is a legacy in itself, and it's something to really be proud of.
Yeah.
Thank you. I receive your compliment.
Yeah, I think overall, and Abby and Leslie kind of touched on this, but I think whether you are independent, started your own business, have a Fortune 100 company, I think priorities and like determining those priorities are so hard to do because you can really only have like 2 or 3 main priorities that you're working towards. But if you are crystal clear about those priorities, it's very easy to say no to things that are busy work, that make you feel productive, but aren't actually moving the needle for either your own business, your client's business, or if you're internal with a company. And it's something that I talk about all the time and I think about all the time. I use Asana for project management, and it has everything on it. It has individual clients have boards on it. My business has a board on it. My husband has a board on it. He doesn't know it, but he does. I have my volunteer board on it. But it helps me, like when I come into my day and I am looking at what I have scheduled for myself, it's usually like 20 things long. And I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen today. And it goes back to what are those priorities for me, for the business, for my clients, for the volunteer organization that I'm part of. And it's very easy to move off things that are nice to have, and it keeps you focused. So, but prioritization is just hard to do personally and professionally.
Besides all the juggling, do you have any other challenge that's very
I'm sorry, did you freeze for others or just for me?
Yeah, freeze,
Yeah,
froze for a bit.
FYI, internet in Germany is really bad, even though it's a very developed country. So I'll rephrase.
Okay.
Besides juggling and prioritization, would you say you have other challenges, or that's the main one that covers everything else?
Prioritization is always hard because shiny opportunities come up, and you have to evaluate them. But for me, I am not a salesperson, and you have to be a salesperson when you have your own business. So I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of online classes through Pavilion, LinkedIn, that help me educate myself on how to sell. I'm still not a salesperson. I will never be a salesperson. I don't have that personality trait.
Yeah, we never know.
but knowing how to put together a story, I can do that as a marketer, and then pairing that with sales techniques that I am learning and getting up to speed on, definitely helpful. So that's a challenge professionally for me, is just being able to be everything. When you own your own company and you don't have a full staff, you have to wear all the hats. And you might be able to hire, a virtual assistant, or, a marketing assistant or something like that. But it's hard. Like, I can't hire a salesperson to go out and sell me to others, because that's not the nature of my business. So you have to learn that.
I love that.
I bet Abby could help you with that.
I will call you later.
I love that you mentioned like how you keep up yourself updated with Pavilion and LinkedIn courses. Leslie, besides community, which other ways do you keep yourself updated or creative, or you gather information for your own business?
I am a big newsletter reader.
Mhm.
I am also, like, I'm in LinkedIn and I'm learning. I will just, I can't even say besides community, because community is it. I am in so many channels and so many communities, and I am literally reading. I want to know what's top of mind for CRO. So I see a post in the CRO channel and it's got 7 responses. What are they talking about? Why are they thinking about that? Why is that important to them? So, honestly, the community is where I do 99% of my learning.
Amazing. How about you, Abby? What gets you inspired?
I always say that, one of my superpowers is learning, and not just learning, but the ability to apply learning in order to drive impact. So learning is something that I'm really passionate about. So I use the Pavilion community quite a lot. I use the network. I'm constantly asking Leslie and the likes of Rhonda and so many people in the community questions. I like, podcasts as well, to learn about how other CEOs have grown their business, their successes, their failures. I read a lot of development books as well, in terms of, the role of a leader, the role of a CRO, the role of running a business. It's an ongoing development, right? And that learning is ongoing. So I learn from people, I learn from my kids. I'm constantly using every opportunity as a learning moment, right? What can I learn from my last meeting? What could I have done better? What are my strengths? How am I growing? What can I learn from this session today? I've learned so many things from Rhonda and Leslie as well. So it's really the ability to capture learning moments in everything.
Absolutely. I think that's an attitude, right? People who don't learn, it's a attitude problem, because as you say, you can go to the supermarket and learn something.
Yes.
Like you, I have one-on-ones with my team. I'm having this conversation with all of you in the past half an hour already, learned a lot. So it's really like more an attitude problem if you don't learn than your surroundings.
Mindset.
The movie Slumdog Millionaire shows that, right? He wins the millionaire because everything he had to deal with in his life, he absorbed it and he remembers it. I think that's a great movie about that you can learn all the time. Rhonda, besides Pavilion, do you have any other sources of information and inspiration?
Okay, I'm going to throw it out there. It's been
Let's go.
half an hour, so I'm going to throw it out there. Chat GPT.
All right.
It is a game changer for me. It helps me learn about new industries, like just the foundation of a new industry, to see, do I want to work with that potential client? Who are their main competitors? What does the market look like? And granted, like, it is not up to date. It's not up to 2023 date, but it gives you the foundation and cuts down the amount of time and research that you have, in addition to everything else that you're doing. So it's not an end all be all, it's a supplement, it's a tool. So I'm throwing out AI so that we can add that in the conversation.
Absolutely. You address the virtual elephant in the room. Actually,
I will also say that I'm in 17 communities. So I'm in communities. I'm in, you name it. I'm probably spread a little bit too thin. So
of course you are community.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was looking while you were talking, I was like, oh, I think I'm in 7 communities. I'm in 8. But 17, oh my, I don't know how you do that. Like, do you have an AI that like aggregates it all and summarizes what's going on?
No, I'm a skimmer. I'm an active participant in quite a few, and then I'm a skimmer and just in caser in quite a few too. So
nice.
I love that, just in case.
I love that. I'm more just in caser than anything, I have to be honest. I have to manage my time a little bit better to be a bit more active, because I really do see the value of it. But yeah, I love that you put that in such a simple term, just in caser. I love that. Amazing. Unfortunately, we are going towards the end of the show. In the end of each show, because I work in sales, my company works for salespeople, we always show in the end a prospecting email to the persona. So after we talking about your challenges, your priorities, what makes you move, we will see if this anonymous person actually talks to your heart or not. And you can brutally honest, because it's anonymous. So I will share the email and I will read it out loud. So, hi Leslie, hi Abby, hi Rhonda. I'll be glad to learn more about your current projects, as we helped consultants like yourself in the past. With our software, they keep their clients' use cases, content material, and training all in one place, easy accessible. Does it sound like something that could be under your radar? Kind regards, John. In every email, the person is called John. Rhonda, what's your take? You said you're not a salesperson, which I doubt. What's your take here?
It's very interesting, because I get these types of emails multiple times a day. Usually it has nothing to do with anything that I'm doing. I get a lot
Great research then.
Yeah. Like, click on the link and see what my website says. But it's usually like, oh, let me help you with your Shopify store. And I'm like, I don't have a Shopify store. So for me, like, I think it's a nice email. Would I respond back? Probably not, because it doesn't.
I don't think so. I don't think you would.
Yeah, because it doesn't have enough personalization. Like, and I think that's one of the things that a good salesperson has, is they took a couple of seconds to skim your LinkedIn, to click on your website, to know, like, you're not just generic selling for sales sake. And this kind of sounds like that. So probably not. Sorry, John.
You see, I was right. You are a salesperson, Rhonda. Leslie, you were nodding. What's your take here?
Yeah, I'm also sorry, and I'm very direct. So this would be a quick delete. I think there are ways that I would recommend. It's like, one, if they listen to this podcast, they're going to easily see that prioritization and time management and the challenges of wearing many hats. So like, how do you specifically address one of those items? More like she said, more personalization, keep clients, use case content all in one place. And I'm thinking, well, I have Notion or Asana for that.
For Rhonda.
Yeah, Asana for Rhonda. So I'm like, yeah, no. And I would want them to like, what's the pain that you're trying to solve? Like, it's missing a pain for me.
Yeah, amazing. Abby, I saw you nodding a lot when Leslie said this is direct delete. What's your take?
So on the same page with Rhonda and Leslie, it's very, very generic. Even the first line, I'd be glad to learn more about your current projects, as we've helped consultants like yourself in the past. Have you really? Do you even know what I do? Consultants are very, very different, so I think more specific, being more personalized. And to me, this just sounds very generic, that you just sent to loads of people versus the person understands my role, right? And then the other piece I'll add is, back to Leslie's point in terms of, the challenges. Like if somebody wrote something like, hey, Abby, Leslie, Rhonda, I know that trying to build pipeline is a challenge for you. Context switching, prioritization, a typical challenge that we see, in your space. I'd love to have a conversation around how we're helping to problems. I'd love to have a conversation to understand your context and see if there's something if this is an area that we might be able to help. We might be able to help. And I use that word might because, often in these emails, you're assuming that the software is going to help me, in terms of like use cases, content materials, without really, because you haven't had a discovery to understand my context. So language can be quite powerful, in these emails.
I completely agree. I love the word might. Leslie,
I would respond to Abby's email. The email, just a quick, thing. I would respond to that.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Pain, might, not assuming, asking first. I think that's definitely the ingredients. Amazing. Rhonda, Leslie, Abby, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me about your day-to-day. It was super interesting, a lot of fun, and I hope you had fun as well. And we will see you around in LinkedIn and other communities.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.